Lynn Margulis was an American evolutionary theorist, taxonomist, bacteriologist, protistologist, and botanist, with advanced degrees in zoology and genetics. She was known to the public as a science author, educator, and popularizer, and recognized as the primary modern proponent for the significance of symbiosis in biological evolution. Historian Jan Sapp has noted that Lynn Margulis' unregistered trademark S name is a synonymous with symbiosis as Charles Darwin unregistered trademark S is with evolution. In particular, Margulis transformed and fundamentally framed current understanding of the evolution of cells with nuclei an event Ernst Mayr called perhaps the most important and dramatic event in the history of life by proposing it to have been the result of symbiotic mergers of bacteria. Margulis was also the co-developer of Gaia theory with the British chemist James Lovelock, proposing that the Earth functions as a single self-regulating system, and was the principal defender and promulgator of the five-kingdom classification of Robert Whittaker. Throughout her career, Margulis' unregistered trademark work could arouse intense objection, and her formative paper, On the Origin of Mitosing Cells, appeared in 1967 after being rejected by about 15 journals. Still a junior faculty at Boston University at the time, her theory that cell organelles such as mitochondria and chloroplasts were once independent bacteria was largely ignored for another decade, becoming widely accepted only after it was powerfully substantiated through genetic evidence. Margulis was elected a member of the U.S. National Academy of Sciences in 1983. President Bill Clinton presented her the National Medal of Science in 1999. The Linnean Society of London awarded her the Darwin Wallace Medal in 2008. Called Science's unruly Earth Mother, a vindicated heretic, or a scientific rebel, Margulis was a strong critic of neo-Darwinism, a position that sparked lifelong debate with leading neo-Darwinian biologists, including Richard Dawkins, George C. Williams, and John Maynard Smith. Margulis' work on symbiosis and her endosymbiotic theory had important predecessors, going back to the mid-19th century notably Konstantin Merezhkovsky, Boris Kozo-Polyansky, and Ivan Volin and Margulis took the unusual step of not only trying to promote greater recognition for their contributions, but of personally overseeing the first English translation of Kozo-Polyansky's Symbiogenesis, a new principle of evolution which appeared the year before her death. It has sometimes been said that Margulis not only preached symbiosis but actively lived it. Many of her major works, particularly those intended for a general readership, were collaboratively written with her son Dorian Sagan. Biography: Lynn Margulis was born in Chicago, to a Jewish, Zionist family. Her parents were Morris Alexander and Leona Wise Alexander. She was the eldest of 4 daughters. Her father was an attorney who also ran a company that made road paints. Her mother operated a travel agency. She entered the Hyde Park Academy High School in 1952, describing herself as a bad student who frequently had to stand in the corner. A precocious child, she was accepted at the University of Chicago laboratory schools at the age of 15. In 1957, at age 19, she earned a BA from the University of Chicago in liberal arts, and then completed a master's degree at the University of Chicago in genetics and zoology at age 22. She joined the University of Wisconsin to study biology under Hans Riss and Walter Plort, her supervisor, and graduated in 1960 with a Miss in genetics and zoology. She then pursued research at the University of California, Berkeley, under the zoologist Max Alfort. Before she could complete her dissertation, she was offered research associateship and then lectureship at Brandeis University in Massachusetts in 1964. It was while working there that she obtained her Ph.D. from the University of California, Berkeley in 1965. Her thesis was an unusual pattern of thymidine incorporation in Euglena. In 1966 she moved to Boston University, where she taught biology for 22 years. She was initially an adjunct assistant professor, and appointed to assistant professor in 1967. She was promoted to associate professor in 1971, to full professor in 1977, and to university professor in 1986. In 1988 she was appointed Distinguished Professor of Botany at the University of Massachusetts at Amherst. She was Distinguished Professor of Biology in 1993. In 1997 she transferred to the Department of Geosciences at Amherst to become Distinguished Professor of Geosciences with great delight, the post which she held until her death. Personal life: Margulis married astronomer Carl Sagan in 1957 soon after she got her bachelor's degree. Sagan was then a graduate student in physics at the University of Chicago. Their marriage ended in 1964, just before she completed her Ph.D. They had two sons, Dorian Sagan, who later became a popular science writer and her collaborator, and Jeremy Sagan, software developer and founder of Sagan Technology. In 1967, she married Thomas N. Margulis, a crystallographer. They had a son Zachary Margulis Onoma, New York City criminal defense lawyer, and a daughter Jennifer Margulis, teacher and author. They divorced in 1980. She commented, "I quit my job as a wife twice, and, unregistered trademark s not humanly possible to be a good wife, a good mother and a first-class scientist. No one can do something has to go." In the 2000s she had a relationship with fellow biologist Ricardo Guerrero. Her sister Joan Alexander married Nobel laureate Sheldon Lee Glashow. Another sister, Sharon, married mathematician Daniel Lightman. She was an agnostic, and a staunch evolutionist. But she totally rejected the modern evolutionary synthesis, and said, "I remember waking up one day with an epiphanous revelation, I'm not a neo-Darwinist." It recalled an earlier experience, when I realized that I wasn't a humanistic Jew. Although I greatly admire Darwin's contributions and agree with most of his theoretical analysis and I am a Darwinist, I'm not a neo-Darwinist. She argued that natural selection eliminates and maybe maintains, but it doesn't create, and maintained that symbiosis was the major driver of evolutionary change. Margulis died on November 22, 2011 at home in Amherst, Massachusetts, 5 days after suffering a hemorrhagic stroke. As her wish, she was cremated and her ashes were scattered in her favorite research areas, near her home. Contributions Endosymbiosis theory In 1966, as a young faculty member at Boston University, Margulis wrote a theoretical paper titled On the Origin of Mitosing Cells. The paper, however, was rejected by about 15 scientific journals, she recalled. It was finally accepted by Journal of Theoretical Biology and is considered today a landmark in modern endosymbiotic theory. Weathering constant criticism of her ideas for decades, Margulis is famous for her tenacity in pushing her theory forward, despite the opposition she faced at the time. The descent of mitochondria from bacteria and of chloroplasts from cyanobacteria was experimentally demonstrated in 1978 by Robert Schwartz and Margaret Day Hoff. This formed the first experimental evidence for her theory. The endosymbiosis theory of organogenesis gained further support in the 1980s, when the genetic material of mitochondria and chloroplasts was found to be different from that of the symbiont's nuclear DNA. In 1995, English evolutionary biologist Richard Dawkins had this to say about Lynn Margulis and her work. "I greatly admire Lynn Margulis's sheer courage and stamina in sticking by the endosymbiosis theory, and carrying it through from being an unorthodoxy to an orthodoxy. I'm referring to the theory that the eukaryotic cell is a symbiotic union of primitive prokaryotic cells. This is one of the great achievements of 20th century evolutionary biology, and I greatly admire her for it. Symbiosis as evolutionary force . Margulis later formulated a theory to explain how symbiotic relationships between organisms of often different phyla or kingdoms are the driving force of evolution, and genetic variation is proposed to occur mainly as a result of transfer of nuclear information between bacterial cells or viruses and eukaryotic cells. While her organogenesis ideas are widely accepted, symbiotic relationships as a current method of introducing genetic variation is something of a fringe idea. She also held a negative view of certain interpretations of neo-Darwinism that she felt were excessively focused on interorganismic competition, as she believed that history will ultimately judge them as comprising a minor 20th-century religious sect within the sprawling religious persuasion of Anglo-Saxon biology. She also believed that proponents of the standard theory wallow in their zoological, capitalistic, competitive, cost-benefit interpretation of Darwin having mistaken him. Neo-Darwinism, which insists on the slow accrual of mutations by gene-level natural selection, is in a complete funk. She opposed competition-oriented views of evolution, stressing the importance of symbiotic or cooperative relationships between species. Gaia hypothesis equals. Margulis initially sought out the advice of Lovelock for her own research. She explained that, in the early 70s, I was trying to align bacteria by their metabolic pathways. I noticed that all kinds of bacteria produced gases. Oxygen, hydrogen sulfide, carbon dioxide, nitrogen, ammonia. More than 30 different gases are given off by the bacteria whose evolutionary history I was keen to reconstruct. Why did every scientist I asked believe that atmospheric oxygen was a biological product but the other atmospheric gases nitrogen, methane, sulfur, and so on were not? Go talk to Lovelock, at least 4 different scientists suggested. Lovelock believed that the gases in the atmosphere were biological. Margulis met with Lovelock, who explained his Gaia hypothesis to her, and very soon they began an intense collaborative effort on the concept. One of the earliest significant publications on Gaia was a 1974 paper co-authored by Lovelock and Margulis, which succinctly defined the hypothesis as follows: the notion of the biosphere as an active adaptive control system able to maintain the Earth in homeostasis we are calling the Gaia hypothesis unregistered trademark. Like other early presentations of Lovelock unregistered trademark idea, the Lovelock-Margulis 1974 paper seemed to give living organisms complete agency in creating planetary self-regulation, whereas later, as the idea matured, this planetary-scale self-regulation was recognized as an emergent property of the Earth system, life and its physical environment taken together. When climatologist Stephen Schneider convened the 1989 American Geophysical Union Chapman Conference around the issue of Gaia, the idea of a strong Gaia and a Uic Gaia was introduced by James Kirkner, after which Margulis was sometimes associated with the idea of a Uic Gaia, incorrectly. In her 1998 book Symbiotic Planet, Margulis explored the relationship between Gaia and her work on symbiosis. 5 kingdoms of life the entire life on Earth was traditionally classified into 5 kingdoms, as introduced by Robert Whittaker in 1969. Margulis became the most important supporter, as well as critic in the sense that she was the first to recognize the limitations of Whittaker's classification of microbes. But later discoveries of new organisms, such as Archaea, and emergence of molecular taxonomy challenged the concept. By the mid-2000s, most scientists began to agree that there are more than 5 kingdoms. Margulis became the most important defender of the 5-kingdom classification. She rejected the 3-domain system introduced by Carl Oeys in 1990, which gained wide acceptance. She introduced an improved classification by which all life forms, including the newly discovered, could be integrated into the classical 5 kingdoms. According to her, the main problem, Archaea, falls under the kingdom Prokaryote alongside bacteria. Her concept is given in detail in her book 5 Kingdoms, written with Carleen V. Schwartz. It is mainly because of her that this 5 kingdoms system survives. Controversies. It has been suggested that initial rejection of Margulis' unregistered trademark work on the endosymbiotic theory, and the controversial nature of it as well as Gaia theory, made her identify throughout her career with scientific mavericks, outsiders and unaccepted theories generally. In the last decade of her life, while key components of her life via unregistered trademark's work began to be understood as fundamental to a modern scientific viewpoint the widespread adoption of Earth system science and the incorporation of key parts of endosymbiotic theory into biology curricula worldwide Margulis if anything became more embroiled in controversy, not less. Journalist John Wilson explained this by saying that Lynn Margulis defined herself by oppositional science, and in the commemorative collection of essays Lynn Margulis, The Life and Legacy of a Scientific Rebel, commentators again and again depict her as a modern embodiment of the scientific rebel, akin to Freeman Dyson's unregistered trademark S. 1995 essay, The Scientist as Rebel, a tradition Dyson saw embodied in Benjamin Franklin, and which he believed to be essential to good science. At times, Margulis could make highly provocative comments in interviews that appeared to support her most strident critiques of unregistered trademark condemnation. The following describes two of these controversies. Metamorphosis theory in 2009, via a then-standard publication process known as communicated submission, she was instrumental in getting the Proceedings of the National Academy of Sciences to publish a paper by Donald I. Williamson rejecting the Darwinian assumption that larvae and their adults evolved from a single common ancestor. Williamson's paper provoked immediate response from the scientific community, including a countering paper in PNAS. Conrad Labendera of the Smithsonian National Museum of Natural History said, "If I was reviewing Williamson's paper I would probably opt to reject it," he says, "but I'm not saying it's a bad thing that this is published. What it may do is broaden the discussion on how metamorphosis works and on the origin of these very radical life cycles." But Duke University insect developmental biologist Fred Nijalt said that the paper was better suited for the National Enquirer than the National Academy. In September it was announced that PNAS would eliminate communicated submissions in July 2010. PNAS stated that the decision had nothing to do with the Williamson controversy. AIDS HIV theory in 2009 Margulis and 7 others authored a position paper concerning research on the viability of round body forms of some spirochetes, syphilis, Lyme disease and AIDS, resurgence of the great imitator. Which states that, detailed research that correlates life histories of symbiotic spirochetes to changes in the immune system of associated vertebrates is sorely needed, and urging the reinvestigation of the natural history of mammalian, tick-borne, and venereal transmission of spirochetes in relation to impairment of the human immune system. The paper did not question the existence of HIV or AIDS, nor that HIV causes AIDS, but suggested that syphilis could have been a cofactor in the spread of AIDS. In a Discover magazine interview with Dick Teresi published less than 6 months before her death, however, Margulis spoke provocatively of how the set of symptoms, or syndrome, presented by syphilitics overlaps completely with another syndrome, AIDS, and also noted that Kary Mullis, winner of the 1993 Nobel Prize for DNA sequencing, and well known for his unconventional scientific views, said in an interview that he went looking for a reference substantiating that HIV causes AIDS and discovered, there is no such document. This elicited widespread suggestions that Margulis was an AIDS denialist, with Jerry Coyne notably writing on his Why Evolution is True blog about Margulis' supposed notion that AIDS is really syphilis, not viral in origin at all. 1. Seth Kalichman, a social psychologist who studies behavioral and social aspects of AIDS, cited her 2009 paper as an example of AIDS denialism flourishing, and asserted that her endorsement of HIV/AIDS denialism defies understanding. In the Discover magazine interview, Margulis discussed with Teresi the primary grounds for her initial interest in the material of the 2009 AIDS paper, being that unregistered trademark M interested in spirochetes only because of our ancestry. Unregistered trademark M not interested in the diseases, and stated that to her the fact that both Treponema and Borrelia only have retained about 20% of the genes they need to live freely outside of their human hosts, they should be considered as symbionts. Awards and recognitions: elected Fellow of the American Association for the Advancement of Science in 1975. Guggenheim Fellowship in 1978. Elected to the National Academy of Sciences in 1983. Guest Hagy Lecturer, University of Waterloo, 1985. Inducted into the World of Art and Science, the Russian Academy of Natural Sciences, and the American Academy of Arts and Sciences. Misha Ishida Prize in 1986. 1989, conferred the Commander de la unregistered trademark Audrey des Palmes Icard copyright Mixte de France. has her papers permanently archived in the Library of Congress, Washington, D.C., 1992. Recipient of Chancellor's Medal for Distinguished Faculty of the University of Massachusetts at Amherst, 1995. Elected Fellow of the World Academy of Art and Science, 1998. Recipient of the Distinguished Service Award of the American Institute of Biological Sciences. 1998. Elected Fellow of the American Academy of Arts and Sciences. 1999. Recipient of the William Proctor Prize for Scientific Achievement. 1999, recipient of the National Medal of Science, awarded by President William J. Clinton, 2002 a Euro 05, Alexander von Humboldt Prize. 2005, elected President of Sigma Xi, the Scientific Research Society. Profiled in Visionaries, the 20th Century's 100 Most Important Inspirational Leaders, published in 2007. Founded Science Writers Books in 2006 with her son Dorian. Was one of 13 recipients in 2008 of the Darwin-Wallace Medal, heretofore bestowed every 50 years, by the Linnean Society of London. 2009, speaker at the Biological Evolution Facts and Theories Conference, held at the Pontifical Gregorian University, Rome, aimed at promoting dialogue between evolutionary biology and Christianity. 2010, inductee into the Leonardo da Vinci Society of Thinking at the University of Advancing Technology in Tempe, Arizona. 2010, NASA Public Service Award for Astrobiology. 2012, Lynn Margulis Symposium, Celebrating a Life in Science, University of Massachusetts, Amherst, March 23, Euro 25, 2012, honorary doctorate from 15 universities. Select publications and bibliography. Books Margulis, Lynn. Genome Acquisition in Horizontal Gene Transfer, Symbiogenesis and Macromolecular Sequence Analysis. In Gogerton, Maria Boeckels. Gogerton, Johann Peter. Olensnsky, Lorraine C. Horizontal Gene Transfer, Genomes in Flux 532. Humana Press pages 181 a Euro 191 doi, 10.1007 over 978-60327-853-910. ISBN 978-1-60327-852-2. PMID 19271185. Margulis, Lynn, and Dorian Sagan. Dazzle Gradually, Reflections on the Nature of Nature, Science Writers Books, ISBN 978-1-933392-31-8, Margulis, Lynn, and Eduardo Punset, Ed's Mind, Life and Universe, Conversations with Great Scientists of Our Time, Science Writers Books, ISBN 978-1-933392-61-5, Margulis, Lynn. Luminous Fish, Tales of Science and Love, Science Writers Books, ISBN 978-1-933392-33-2, Margulis, Lynn, and Dorian Sagan. Acquiring Genomes, A Theory of the Origins of Species, Perseus Books Group, ISBN 0-465-04391-7, Margulis, Lynn, A.L. The Ice Chronicles, The Quest to Understand Global Climate Change, University of New Hampshire, ISBN 1-58465-062-1, Margulis, Lynn. Symbiotic Planet, A New Look at Evolution, Basic Books, ISBN 0-465-07271-2, Margulis, Lynn, and Carleen V. Schwartz. Five Kingdoms, An Illustrated Guide to the Philo of Life on Earth, W. H. Freeman and Company, ISBN 0-613-92338-3, Margulis, Lynn, and Dorian Sagan. What is Sex? Simon & Schuster, ISBN 0-684-82691-7, Margulis, Lynn, and Dorian Sagan. Slanted Truths, Essays on Gaia, Symbiosis, and Evolution, Copernicus Books, ISBN 0-387-94927-5. Margulis, Lynn, Dorian Sagan and Niles Eldridge. What is Life? Simon & Schuster, ISBN 978-0684810874, Sagan, Dorian, and Margulis, Lynn. The Garden of Microbial Delights, A Practical Guide to the Subvisible World, Kendall Hunt, ISBN 0-8403-8529-3, Margulis, Lynn. Symbiosis and Cell Evolution, Microbial Communities in the Archean and Proterozoic Eons, W. H. Freeman, ISBN 0-7167-7028-8, Margulis, Lynn. Symbiosis and Evolution, Origins of Cell Motility. Inosaur, Syozo. Onzo, Tasuku. Evolution of Life, Fossils, Molecules and Culture. Japan, Springer pages 305 €324 doi, 10.1007/978-431-68302-519. ISBN 978-4-431-68304-9. Margulis, Lynn, ed. Symbiosis as a Source of Evolutionary Innovation, Speciation and Morphogenesis, The MIT Press, ISBN 0-262-13269-9, Margulis, Lynn, and Dorian Sagan. Mystery Dance, On the Evolution of Human Sexuality, Summit Books, ISBN 0-671-63341-4, Margulis, Lynn, and Dorian Sagan. Microcosmos, 4 Billion Years of Evolution from Our Microbial Ancestors, HarperCollins, ISBN 0-04-570015-X, Margulis, Lynn, and Dorian Sagan. Origins of Sex, 3 Billion Years of Genetic Recombination, Yale University Press, ISBN 0-300-03340-0, Margulis, Lynn. Early Life, Science Books International, ISBN 0-86720-005-7, Margulis, Lynn. Origin of Eukaryotic Cells, Yale University Press, ISBN 0-300-01353-1. Journals Guerrero, R. Margulis, L. Berlanga, M. Bandy, C. McAllister, J. Margulis, L. Symbiogenesis, the holobionte as a Unit of Evolution. International Microbiology 16, 133 €143 doi, 10.2436/20.1501.01. PMID 24568029. Weir, A.M. Saki, L. Dolan, M.F. Bandy, C. McAllister, J. Margulis, L. Spirochete Attachment Ultrastructure, Implications for the Origin and Evolution of Cilia. The Biological Bulletin 218, 25 €35. PMID 20203251. Brawson, O. Brawson, S.H. Sives, J. McAllister, J. Weir, A. Margulis, L. Destruction of Spirochete Borrelia Burgdorferi round body propagules by the antibiotic tigecycline. Proceedings of the National Academy of Sciences 106, 18656 €18661. doi, 10.1073/FNAS0908236106. PMC 2774030. PMID 19843691. Margulis, Lynn. Chapman, Michael. Dolan, Michael F. Seams for Analysis of Evolution, Dedive's Pyroxenes and Mayer's Hydrogenesis in the Sulfurous Proterozoic Eon. Nature Reviews Genetics 8, 1 doi, 10.1038/NRG2071C1. PMID 17923858. Dolan, M.F. Margulis, L. Advances in Biology Reveal Truth About Prokaryotes. Nature 445, 21 doi, 10.1038/445021b. PMID 17203039. Margulis, L. Chapman, M. Guerrero, R. Hall, J. The Last Eukaryotic Common Ancestor, Acquisition of Cytoskeletal Motility from Aerotolerant Spirochetes in the Proterozoic Eon. Proceedings of the National Academy of Sciences 103, 13080 13085. doi, 10.1073/FNAS 0604985103. PMC 1559756. PMID 16938841. Margulis, L. Hans Friss. Geno 4, Chromosomes and the Bacterial Origin of Chloroplasts. International Microbiology 8, 145 8. PMID 16052465. Dolan, Michael F. Melnitsky, Hannah. Margulis, Lynn. Kolnicki, Robin. Motility Proteins and the Origin of the Nucleus. The Anatomical Record 268, 290 301 doi, 10.1002/10161. PMID 12382325. Weir, A. Dolan, M. Grimaldi, D. Guerrero, R. Wagensberg, J. Margulis, L. Spirochete and protist symbionts of a termite in Miocene amber. Proceedings of the National Academy of Sciences 99, 1410 1413. doi, 10.1073/FNAS 0226438899. PMC 122204. PMID 11818534. Margulis, L. Dolan, M.F. Guerrero, Are the Chimeric Eukaryote, Origin of the Nucleus from the Carrier Mastigant in a Mitochondriate Protists. Proceedings of the National Academy of Sciences 97, 6954 6959. doi, 10.1073/FNAS 97.13.6954. PMC 34369. PMID 10860956. Chapman, M.J. Margulis, L. Morphogenesis by Symbiogenesis. International Microbiology 1, 319 26. PMID 10943381. Margulis, L. Archaeobacterial mergers in the origin of eukarya, phylogenetic classification of life. Proceedings of the National Academy of Sciences of the United States of America 93, 1071 1076. doi, 10.1073/FNAS 93.3.1071. PMC 40032. PMID 8577716. Margulis, L. Words as Battlecruiser Symbiogenesis and the New Field of Endocytobiology. Bioscience 40, 673 677 doi, 10.2307/1311435. PMID 11541293. Lozano, A. Guerrero, R. Margulis, L. Oracubed, J. The Evolutionary Transition from RNA to DNA in Early Cells. Journal of Molecular Evolution 27, 283 290 doi, 10.1007/BF02101189. PMID 2464698. Bermudez, D. Margulis, L. Zertsnes, G. Prokaryotic origin of Undulipodia. Application of the panda principle to the centriole enigma. Annals of the New York Academy of Sciences 503, 187 a €197 doi, 10.1111 per Joule 1749-6632.1987 TB40608X. PMID 3304075. Sagan, D. Margulis, L. Gaia and the Evolution of Machines. Whole Earth Review 55, 15 a €21. PMID 11542102. Margulis, L. Bermudez, D. Symbiosis as a Mechanism of Evolution, Status of Cell Symbiosis Theory. Symbiosis 1, 101 a €124. PMID 11543608. Margulis, L. Undulipodia, Flagella and Cilia. Biosystems 12, 105 a €108 doi, 10.1016/0303-2647, 80, 90041-6. PMID 7378551. Margulis, L. Genetic and Evolutionary Consequences of Symbiosis. Experimental Parasitology 39, 277 a €349 doi, 10.1016/0014-4894, 76, 90127-2. PMID 816668. References. External links: The Endosymbiotic Theory, Lynn Margulis Rutgers interview on YouTube, Lynn Margulis Rutgers interview on YouTube, Lynn Margulis Rutgers interview on YouTube, 911, Explosive Evidence, Experts Speak Out on YouTube, works by or about Lynn Margulis in libraries, San Jose Science, Technology and Society, 2004 a €2005 Linus Pauling Memorial Lectures, UMass Bio Department.